Isn't this a pretty dessert terrarium? First, I'm going to tell you about the desserts that I used to make this dessert terrarium. And then I'll tell you about how the dessert terrarium was constructed. Pink snowballs are a variation of the white snowball, of course, and they are a cupcake that's filled in the center, coated in a lightweight, spongy marshmallow covering, and then covered in pink sprinkles. They make an excellent addition to the dessert terrarium because of their color. And their shape is the typical round shape of the snowball, although these are more of a generic version that are a little bit flatter on top. If you're building your dessert terrarium near Easter, peeps are of course one of the possible things to use. We don't want to use the stereotypical jelly beans, but peeps, especially the traditional yellow variety, come in nice flocks of 5 and are easily separated as a marshmallow that can be used many places in a dessert terrarium. If you're building your dessert terrarium near Easter, you can use a variety of chocolate bunnies, solid bunnies, hollow bunnies, and in this case the half bunny. This one is used towards the back of the dessert terrarium so that you only see it from the one side. Suckers, of course, come in many varieties, the filled ones, the unfilled ones, many different flavors, many different colors, and they make great arrangements of trees, and they're great as an upright element into the terrarium. If you're going to be building an aquatic area in a pond or waterfall in your dessert terrarium, you'll need the blueberry gelatin, and you'll need Swedish fish because they won't melt in the gelatin. Now you could use gummy worms and gummy bears, but nobody really likes eating worms, and the bears will eat too much of the other desserts that are in the dessert terrarium. Twizzlers are excellent for dessert terrariums. They can be used upright, they can be used horizontal, they can be used to make arches, and this spiraling shape is a visual element that adds appeal to the dessert terrarium. If you're looking for a good base to your dessert terrarium, gelatin makes an excellent base because you can get it in different colors. Green, of course, can be used for grass, and it also allows you to use elements that can be placed in the gelatin to stand up. It's a great resource for the dessert terrarium. Circus peanuts are great for the dessert terrarium because they can add the texture, an interesting color, and of course they're gluten-free, have no trans fat, and no cholesterol. I'm using orange slices, partly because of their color and their texture, and the repeating shape of the arch that can be used in so many different ways in the dessert terrarium, and because I like them. You can add any other flavors of candies or desserts just because you like them. Cookies come in many sizes, flavors, and shapes, as long as they're round. They can be used flat or vertically in the dessert terrarium. Cotton candy is an excellent resource for the dessert terrarium because it can be used to fill in space, and its fluffy texture is really nice. It can be used for clouds, it can be used for grass, it can be used for a lot of different surfaces in the dessert terrarium. Donuts are often thought of as a breakfast food, but they can be used in the dessert terrarium just as easily as many of the other desserts. There are many sizes and shapes. I'm using a small terrarium today, and so I'm using the small frosted donuts. In our dessert terrarium today, we're using desert plants of cactuses and succulents as cupcake frosting. These are excellent cupcakes, and I'm really happy to be using them in my dessert terrarium. It's best to take the desserts out of their packages so they can breathe. You do have to keep excess heat and humidity away from the terrarium, as some of the desserts will fade or melt, which is why we tend not to use chocolate. It is important to watch the lighting, as too much light can cause dryness and cracking in some desserts. Any aquarium will work, but I'm using a brand new one. A terrarium is a miniature landscape. It can be many styles, such as bonsai, natural, formal, dry garden, or wet garden. Decide on the best viewing angle and how many sides you can see through. Will it be maintained as an ecosystem or just a large dessert holder? Will it showcase candies or after-dinner desserts? We often fall for the model house syndrome of using small bite-sized or fun-sized desserts instead of using large serving sizes, but those can overrun the aquarium in no time. Use serving sizes that fit in the bounds of your terrarium, and you'll have a pretty terrarium for much longer. This is not a snack terrarium, as there are no salty ingredients used. It is possible to make a snack terrarium using a variety of crackers, chips, and dips. Although the idea for this dessert terrarium was to use more desserts, I think it evolved into more of a candy terrarium, as there's a wider selection of small candies. If I was using a larger aquarium for the terrarium, I could have used more pies and cakes. The best desserts and candies to use are ones that can stand alone without becoming sticky. As with any of our terrarium builds, we like to mark out an area the same size as the terrarium and on the table or a piece of cardboard so that we can do the design, lay everything out, and change things around over and over again rather than having to reach down inside and try to move things around. The taller the aquarium, the harder it is to do. But on a small terrarium like this, it's not that bad, but it's still nice to do it this way. So I'm thinking that what I'd like to do is put the pond towards the back with my Swedish fish there, and then maybe having a stepping stone path to the pond that the bunny is traveling on, and maybe the peeps are already at the pond drinking. And then we've got lots of room over here for the snowball. And then we have the grass. We could put the grass at the bottom and around the rabbit. We can use the orange slices as a decorative element coming across the front. And then we could put maybe a couple of cookies in the back corner, and maybe the red Twizzlers in the back of the pond. Although they're the same color as the Swedish fish, so maybe they can go over here, have them stand up over there. And then we can put, for some low height here, some decorative cupcakes. Although I do like the saguaro shaped one here. Well, that could go over on this side. And then I'm not sure I want to keep the snowball there. We've got 3 round things in a row there. Not sure I like that. And I haven't used the suckers. So, all right. You know what, it's going to be hard to get the rabbit to stand up there. So maybe the rabbit should go to the back, the bunny, and then put the grass around in front of him. And you know what, speaking of the front, I think I'd rather have the pond towards the front with the fish. And then let's rearrange this a little bit. Let's start our path over here and have it come to the pond. Maybe it should have a little bit of a shape to it there like that. Then put a couple of peeps around the edge of the pond. Have the bunny eating the circus peanuts. Having the orange slices be the little fence hoop thing that a lot of people have coming around the edge of their path. And then I still kind of like the cookies in the corner, but we could put the snowball in this corner for repeating the shape. And then, but you know what, if we move these guys out of the corner, put them as a round shape over here, we can use the suckers as the height in the corner back here, make the cactus a little more of a focal point, put the succulent lower over there, and then maybe add this one over here. Put this guy in there. All right, I think I like that better, don't you? Let's try this. Let's try putting it in the terrarium aquarium and see what we can get. As in all of our aquarium projects, we make sure that they are clean before they're used. And in this case, this is a brand new aquarium that has never been used. So we're just making sure that it doesn't have too much dust and debris in it. Okay, the first thing we want to do is add our ground layer materials. In this case, we have a large area of green Jello to add to the back corner where our sucker trees are going to go. I didn't add extra gelatin, and I probably should have. We'll see how well this does. And then our pond with our Swedish fish. Fish is jumping out of the pond. Stay in the pond. Oh no. This came out of the container better, but now our pond is leaking and our fish are jumping out. All right, keep them there. Now, need to add the bunny rabbit to the back and add his ground layer of the green cotton candy. Make a larger area there for him. Okay, next, I want to add our stepping stone path through a nice little curve here, coming up past the pond and going around and our little arching fence. Try and keep people from falling into the pond here. And need a few extras. There we go. Problem with a project like this is sometimes you nibble onto some of the parts you need. So our succulents and cactus. Looks like a saguaro cactus here. Looks pretty nice. And our barrel cactus here. The cookie backdrop right in there. Our tall element of the Twizzlers coming back here against the side. I think I need at least one more. Problem with the Twizzlers is they're sticky. It might be a good thing. They might be stuck to the glass here. Then we needed to give the rabbit something to be eating, so we have peanuts here, down here with our circus peanuts. And our peeps are visiting the pond, and our nice snowball in the corner. And there is a really nice looking dessert terrarium. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, I forgot. I didn't get the suckers in. We have a few suckers here for our height in the backdrop here. The Jello needs more gelatin to hold up our sucker forest. And they don't want to stay standing. I have to lean them on our succulents. There we go. Now we have a beautiful dessert terrarium. If you like terrarium building, then I think you're going to like the videos that are going to be on this side of the screen. And if you like maybe parody videos, then maybe you'll like my marshmallow roasting video on this side of the screen. Thanks for watching.